These things are upsetting me. Oh, it's been so long since I did my makeup. Like, really good. I want this to be. I forgot to pray. Let's pray right now. Dear God, thank you for this day that you've made. Let no hurt or harm to come to us. Jesus, I'm about to pray for food. God, thank you for waking us up this morning and starting us on our way, allowing us to see the light of yet another day, a day that you have made, a day that you've provided for us. God, I ask that you forgive us of every sin that we've committed, knowingly and unknowingly, sins that we've committed today, sins that we've committed yesterday. Anything, oh God, that is not like you that lives deep within us, I ask that you remove it right now. Ask that you remove it right now in the name of Jesus. Touch our minds, oh God, touch our hearts, touch our souls. Allow us to be renewed and purified in you, oh God. God, I ask that you touch my hands, my eyes, and my mind as I continue to do this makeup look. Allow it to come out as great as you want it to be. Oh God, I believe that I can do all things through you and with you, no matter how big or how small they may be. So God, I am trusting that you will guide me in the proper choices to make for this look. In your son Jesus' name I pray. I say thank God and amen. Amen and thank God. Let's get back to it. So right here, I am using a small sponge to pat in a little bit of loose powder to keep everything set, to keep the cream concealer set in. And I'm probably singing uh, uh, some 90s R&B song here, and trying to figure out what it is exactly that I'm going to do. So I believe here I am just buffing out everything so that it can have a nice smooth finish and my transition color can be perfect. I believe I was using the James Charles Morphe palette during this time. I actually do not know why I didn't show you guys. I was really just trying to get through the look. This took me a few hours, maybe 2 or 3. But yes, this is just me adding, of course, the transition color, which I did ended up coming out kind of orange, but it was supposed to be like I mean, I guess that's right, orange. It was supposed to be a nice, smooth color, smooth, toasted brown transition color. I don't know why I was doing fall makeup in the spring, but we're gonna let me rock because I was having a good time. This was like the second week of quarantine and I was getting bored. Actually, no. Was it the second week of quarantine? I believe not. I believe it was the second or third day of quarantine. I had just met my neighbor and I had met him and I looked actually kind of bad. So the motivation behind me doing this was to accidentally run into him some way, somehow, and show him that I'm actually really cute. Don't ask me. I was a weird person. I'm always a weird person, but yeah. So, just of course, blending in, light strokes. I honestly learned how to do my makeup via YouTube. I am a YouTube University graduate when it comes to hair and makeup. I learned how to braid hair on YouTube. My wig installs are not that great, but they will be. But I learned how to install my wigs from YouTube. And I definitely learned how to do my makeup from YouTube. And you will actually see that I learned how to do my makeup from YouTube because later on in the video it gets a little messy, but the final product is really nice, as you saw in the beginning. know you guys are probably like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Why is she talking? Why is she singing? And why can't we hear her? Well, it's because there was one music playing in the background, and you can't have music on YouTube while it's playing in the background. So that's why that's happening. I don't know what I was thinking when I was recording this, but yeah. So this is a lot of corrector. A lot of orange corrector. I don't even think I use this much anymore. And I also don't think I don't use the LA Pro Girl orange corrector anymore. I use a Too Faced concealer that I bought, but realized that the undertone was too orange. That is a lot of corrector. Oh my gosh! But the undertone was too orange, so I used that. But I might stop using that as well because I think it is starting to like wash me out, and I'll have to find another corrector. Um, so I'm just gonna blend this all in, of course. Just to correct those dark spots. I have chin hairs. I know what I was saying. Before I started putting the corrector on in here, I was explaining to y'all that I have chin hairs. So I use the corrector to kind of make those disappear. And then I was looking at the fact that there was the piece of hair that was stuck in, my double chin that was coming in. But, we back in the gym now, so we ain't got nothing to worry about in regards to that. I was really singing my little heart out, man. Really singing my heart out. Okay, so I also remember the idea also behind this video was because I had went to CVS and spent oh well, it wasn't a lot of money, but spent some money on some drugstore products, and I wanted to like I used coupons. I was couponing, and I bought all this stuff like couponing, and so that was like the whole theme or idea behind me recording this video. The makeup was because of the neighbor. Me recording it was because of the couponing. I may like I have a picture of it, but I may insert the picture of like all of the things that I bought because I don't think I show all of them in the video, but all the things I bought from CVS that was makeup related, that was through coupons and like extra bucks and stuff like that. This foundation is obviously too dark. So, yes, that is the next thing that I am working on, learning how to match my foundation the right way. I do usually get a darker foundation. I've realized that I like darker foundation because I'm able to like brighten it up so much. But yeah, maybe not a good idea. But um, I promise you, you've seen it came out really cute. So I know there's a lot of people cringing, but it's okay. We working through it. We working through it together. Okay, something else that I was playing around with during this makeup session was trying to see if I wanted to switch up on my concealer. So I'm still trying to learn my undertones as well. I kind of just use what works for me and keep it moving, but I'm trying to be more informed so that when I do these videos, I'm able to like really tell y'all what I'm using, why I'm using it, why it makes sense to use it, because I don't want to just be giving y'all tutorials just because and they're not correct. So the that was a CoverGirl concealer, something else I also bought from CVS through couponing, not this, but the one before.
when I stopped and decided to switch to the Shape Tape one, um, it had a olive undertone, and so I was like, maybe I should kind of use something that I trust first, and then you'll see me actually put the CoverGirl concealer on top of that.
Trade chocolate first. It's going down, fade to Black Street, the only.
So I want to tell y'all about this slow ass moment I had. So I don't know if I had let the concealer sit too long because I was too busy dancing. I don't know what it was about this CoverGirl concealer, but I mean, it was drying and not moving with a quickness. So what I sprayed on it was some some MAC matte pro filter instead of and I did it twice, as you can see, instead of a just either a mist or a looser setting spray. And I was getting frustrated and nervous because my concealer was not moving, but I was really spraying like matte setting spray on my face. And I did it like a few times. I was I was being so slow. But then eventually I realized like what I was doing, and I was really, as you can see, I was really getting nervous that it was gonna start washing me out, but it was really because I used the wrong setting spray, and so then I ended up having to pack on more concealer, which this is what I was talking about when I said you can tell like I've really learned from YouTube, because I was never taught like don't you don't necessarily have to cake your face like that. It's not always that serious. But it was at that moment I realized I was using the wrong setting spray. So once I started using, I think that was like the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dewy setting spray, right, to give it more of a move. It started kind of blending, but it was at this moment in time where I was getting nervous about this look, y'all. I really was, because I was like, oh my god, I'm about to look like a white woman. Like, I was nervous. I was scared, but it came together. So this is my I'm getting frustrated face, because again, I'm starting to doubt myself. I knew I put too much loose powder on my face, and I was like, oh my god, Matt, what are you doing? Why are you doing this like this? What are we gonna do to fix it? Play it cool. Oh my goodness. Yes. So I just, like, went along with it and was like, we're gonna figure this out, because it's trial and error. Honestly, it's trial and error. And then I added more powder. And that was the Laura Mercier. It was like a medium deep, or like the deep loose powder. So I'm like, okay, if all else fails, that's a little bit darker. I'll be able to blend it out. I won't look so light so much on my face. And then I was trying to get rid of my smile lines. So I put some powder around my mouth. It was just a lot of powder. It's it was just a lot of powder. I can be excessive. Sometimes I could be very excessive and it comes off looking very bad. But again, I say it came out okay. Um, there will be pictures. I had a little fake photo shoot, so I'll insert those pictures. Putting my bonnet back on because I don't know why it came off, but I wanted my hair out of the way. And the hair is from like Wiggins Hair, I believe. It was a 13 by 6 closure, 13 by 6 frontal that I cut into like a closure myself because I really can do frontals. Um, I'm learning, but I would rather a closure over a frontal any day. So yeah, just getting all close up in the camera so y'all can see me, try to blend this out or whatever. Oof, y'all, listen. This was a lot of work because I had put so much powder on. But hey, I guess, right? You live and you learn, right? Okay, so this is the Fenty contour stick. I don't even know where it is anymore. I think that's an espresso. I lost it. Like it was my favorite contour stick ever, and I need to go back and get it. But I just never thought to go back and get it. But it's my favorite contour stick. I think I learned that from like somewhere, somebody on YouTube where they would cut out like the bottom half of their, or try to cut out the bottom half of their jaw, like with contouring. Um, I will say this though. I snatched the FUCK out of my nose. I contoured the shit out of this nose. I wasn't even trying to. That was like legit on an accident. But honey, my nose came out. That was my favorite part. It was legit my favorite part of the whole. That and my lashes was the favorite part of this whole look. But yeah, I guess I'll stop talking so that we could just continue to watch the video. I wanted to slow it down so that we could actually see and really talk through this quick little transformation. So what was going through my mind was, sis, blend, 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 blend. If you don't blend, I don't know what you're gonna do. So I went back and forth between my powder brush and the contour brush that I had, and just blended. And I don't even know if you could blend loose powder, but I was like, listen, we are gonna get this loose powder to stick and to like seep into our skin and to become one with our face in the areas that it's supposed to become one with. And you can kind of see the gradual transformation. What I also don't like is like how weird my contour is, like coming shit coming in towards my mouth area. I feel like it doesn't, I don't like the way it doesn't fade properly, but that's also something that I plan on working on, and we could work on it together. Yeah, buddy, rolling like a big shot.